Hello, everybody. Welcome to Browns and Beyond, your home for Cleveland Browns content, NFL content, and other sports content. If you're enjoying the show, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you stay locked in with all the latest sports content. And most importantly, drop us a comment. We want to hear your thoughts. All right, boys, here we are. Another Browns Sunday. A little chilly outside, right, Dave? Getting ready for the Titans.
Yeah, well, it's that December chill in the air. It's winter football coming up here, Brent. Hopefully not too snowy out.
I don't want any snow. Dave. I'm hoping. Light. How about light?
Yeah, light would be fine, but I've never been a fan of snow, and I live in Ohio, so how does that work? I guess. But in any case, I'm kind of looking forward to that matchup this week. I think that obviously we got to talk about the quarterback matchup in this one. We're going to dive into that. And, this is one of those games where we got a chance to get a win too, Steve, I think.
I know Steve is looking forward to it to get so we can say that Shedeur Sanders is better than Cam Ward, right, Steve?
That is correct. I have it here to tell you.
Yeah, I can't wait to do it. We'll get right into it, guys. The Cleveland Browns take on the Tennessee Titans. And we're at the Cleveland Browns Stadium here, First Energy. And we're going to get right into it, and we'll start with Mr. Steve Retzer. What do we have to look forward to, buddy, in this Browns and Titans matchup?
All right, fellas. This is a game on the schedule that both teams had circled on their schedule and look forward to hoping to secure a win. With both teams are obviously very bad.
Mm-hmm.
I call a game like this, what do I call it? The battle of the bad.
I had that in my notes, by the way. I was going to use your quote, Steve.
Another highlight about this game is the quarterback comparison, as you just mentioned, Brent.
Yeah.
Between Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders. Cam Ward was the first pick of the draft, and of course Shedeur fell to pick.
Shedeur expected to be number 2.
Yes.
On paper.
Yes.
On paper.
These were supposed to be the top two quarterbacks. I mean, that people were predicting. Yep.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so before the draft, national TV shows were comparing these two. They expected going 1 and 2. Shows like Colin Cowherd, months before the draft, he actually mentioned Shedeur first. And then things changed, and then Ward looked like the clear guy to take. But yeah, this was like the 1-2 guy, guys that everyone was looking at. They're the most talked about players in the draft early on. At any rate, Shedeur gets his third start. And in this one, is the game to see what he's made of. I say let it fly. That's like Brent's quote. Let it fly. Let it rip, man.
So are we saying that conditions permitted, Steve?
If it's not, like I said, I want a light snow. I'm hoping it's because I want to see an air raid. I want to see some throwing, guys.
Yeah.
Some would say
I want to see a battle.
Well, I think they were using the weather as an excuse against San Francisco to not open it up more, but I think that was a convenient excuse because you could see a lot of the routes that Purdy was throwing. I mean, he had no issue like throwing a deep out and throwing the ball down the field to Kittle a few times. And, so it wasn't just the weather conditions in that game.
They were
they're holding them back. They were
holding them back a little bit.
And they didn't do that with the Raiders. They let it fly a little more.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Continue?
No, let Shedeur loose and throw some bombs. Let's see what he's made up for. I hope Tommy Reese allows him to do so. I'm curious if Reese gets a little more leash from that over-conservative play, calling of Kevin Stefanski. So I do want to see a passing showdown between Ward and Shedeur go back and forth. It would be fun, and if these guys can be your starters for years to come, this would be the first preview of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the thing with the Titans is they've got, obviously with their situation, totally different. They're going all in with their quarterback.
Yeah.
This is just completely... Okay, Cam Ward, this is your first year. You're the starter from the get-go.
He's the franchise quarterback.
Exactly.
We're still undetermined.
This is an R&D year. Back to that stuff, Bren, and trying to sample. This is the third quarterback we've sampled this season, and we're trying to figure this thing out. So I think a little bit different situation for both of these teams from that particular standpoint.
Yeah, Cam Ward is going to be their franchise quarterback.
Yeah.
Shedeur, I kind of believe that Stefanski never really wanted him to begin with. So things are going to change next year. I don't know exactly what.
Sure.
But, we'll see about that. The Titans defense is bad against the run and the pass, but they're, worse against the run. So, of course, Quinshot Judkins will likely get many carries. I'd like that 15 to 18 range just because I want to see a passing attack. But if they can't stop Judkins, being against the league, one of the worst teams against the run, then they might have to run him a lot. Right,
yeah, over 20 carries last week. I'm not, again, we're back to Reese and striking that right balance between run and pass in this one. I still think you want to give Shedeur the complimentary running game. It's the best thing to give to a quarterback, especially a young one. But, if they can establish that, then maybe they can build off that, push the ball down the field a little bit. But yeah, they have to open it up a little bit more this week.
I don't want to see it lopsided. I want it, pretty much
sure.
together.
But it can't be like it was last game.
No.
I want it balanced, but I want to see some passing. I want to see what we got.
Right. The bottom line is we need to see a larger sample size of throws that Shedeur needs to make in this offense for him to be successful in this offense and to be a franchise quarterback. He has to throw.
Because you don't know what you got, Dave.
Exactly.
You got to see that.
Right.
There's only one problem with my theory, though, guys.
Go ahead.
The Browns will be without Jack Conklin, concussion.
Here we go.
And Wyatt Teller, like I said in the last cast, Wyatt Teller is out. So likely Tevin Jenkins and KT Leviston are expected to fill those spots.
Not KT.
I know. I'm worried about Levingston.
Did I see him at Krieger's bagging the groceries the other day there?
That was bad. I watched him against Detroit earlier in the year, and he was a turnstile. Now, he had to face Hutchinson, who's one of the better pass rushers in the NFL, but he was bad. That was horrible.
Yeah, we're assuming Jenkins can do the job.
Yeah.
But Levingston, that's what we're afraid of. That's the one thing right there. I'd love to see Shedeur connect with all of his receivers, and Jerry Jeudy, Isaiah Bond, and Cedric Tillman. I want this big passing game. I'm still waiting for my long ball to Cedric Tillman.
Mm-hmm.
Could this be the day to do so? I'm hoping so. We'll see about that. But Dave and Brent, like you both said, we must get separation and run routes, and they got to be on the same page, the receivers and Shedeur. I think Shedeur has a connection with Hero Fannin, so I expect that to continue. And David Njoku's been a little quiet. Or Shedeur hasn't gone to him.
Well, this is a game. This is the right defense for them to face. This is, if there's going to be a defense to get well against. I mean, the Titans have had problems on both sides of the ball, but defensively, this is a defense. I think on the ground they can do some business and then work on the passing game in this one. So this is a game where the offense can get right, Steve, I think.
Yep. So there's another full practice in the books. So I'm hoping there's been some chemistry that should start to be seen out on the field. The Browns defense should look to get after Cam Ward, look for Myles Garrett to get at least one sack, maybe more. He's getting closer to the record. Now, Alex Wright is back on the other side, and he can play, sign that contract extension. He's expected to be.
Oh, he's expected to play.
Yeah, he's expected to be your defensive end. Yep, so I guess he's playing. And then Isaiah McGuire, now this time he's questionable.
Okay.
A lot of Browns backups or rotational players are injured, by the way. Good news is starters are pretty much solid and playing, but most of them.
This could be a big one for the D-line today, by the way.
Yeah.
It could be a big one for the D-line today.
Yeah. So now that we know that Shelby Harris is in there for the injured Malik Collins, and Mason Graham is questionable, Michael Hall Jr. is questionable. So I hope that they play, because if these guys are out, Pollard could have a monster game. It could be like watching the old defensive line before we hired Jim Schwartz. That would be scary, because you'd have all these backup guys. You know what I mean? Hall was already your backup rotational player.
Right.
I hope that he is okay in this one, but they're just listed questionable, so not out. So that's a good news right there.
Right.
Carson Schwarzenegger is expected to have a big game.
Yep.
Speaking of our other star linebacker, Devin Bush, he's questionable, but he's playing.
Okay. He's had a really good year this year, Devin Bush. This is kind of he had a really good rookie year, I thought, in Pittsburgh. This is the best football he's probably played since then.
I was excited to get him in the first place, to be honest with you. I thought he did a few good things in Pittsburgh, but he did have injuries, right, Dave? But he's coming back from that. He's had a heck of a year. He's been a nice compliment to Carson Schwarzenegger and vice versa.
Linebacker play has really improved on this defense.
And that's nice, because we've needed that for years, by the way. I'd like to see some picks in this one. You got Denzel Ward, one of the top corners in the whole NFL. Tyson Chandler on the other side. They should be able to read Cam Ward a little bit. I want to see. Yeah. I'd like him to, get 2 interceptions at least in this game would be good. But Cam Ward has a solid running back to hand the ball off to. Tony Pollard, former Dallas Cowboy. He's a pretty good running back. I mean, he's not awful. You know what I mean? That, in my opinion, he's kind of like how Judkin is for us. So he could see some carries in this one, especially if the interior defensive line and linebackers are hurt for the Browns.
Well, I think Judkins has a higher ceiling, though, than Tony Pollard. I can envision a world where Judkins in the next few years could be like a top 5 to 10 running back.
Oh, yeah.
But remember, Tony Pollard kind of came out of the woodwork.
Well,
Ezekiel Elliott was supposed to be like the guy. He was getting older.
Yeah, Pollard came out of nowhere.
Right.
Came out of nowhere.
But I like Pollard. He had a
solid running
he's
back.
not bad.
Yeah.
He's a quiet.
Yeah. He's a quiet guy. Under the radar.
Yeah, he's under the radar, Brent. That is right.
Yeah.
Cam Ward is without top receiver Calvin Ridley. He's on the IR. But some players he gets to throw to get involved. Tight end Chug Okunkowo. I can't pronounce some of these guys' names, but I'm going to try.
Yeah.
He's leading the way.
For effort, Steve.
Yeah. He's leading the way in receiving for the Titans. Now, they got a couple of them, okay, guys? Look for Elik Manor. I'm not sure if I said that right.
Hey, Steve, good job. Not good.
Thank you. That wasn't a bad pronunciation. I practiced that.
Way to give him the gold star over there.
Yeah, get you a coin, like, here's a coin, good job here, buddy. All right, keep going, man.
And then, they got Van Jefferson, Chimeri Dyke, and of course, their other tight end, Gunnar Helm, should get involved in this game. The Titans' defense is led by defensive tackle Jeffrey Simmons and cornerbacks Larius Sneed and Roger McCreary. Those guys are pretty tough.
Sneed was a solid corner for the Chiefs on those championship teams.
Yes, he was. I remember him well for Kansas City.
Yeah.
They often run a 3-4 base defense. They rely on aggressive blitzes and good coverage to create pressure. I am hoping for a shootout and some entertainment in this one. I want this to be like the entertainment.
Yeah, I want it to be fun.
It's Browns versus Titans, but it's also, like I said, Shador versus Cam. I want some big entertainment. I want to see highlights.
I think your chances of seeing Big 12 football circa 2008, Steve, are not happening in this one. I don't know. This is 51-48. So
Winston's not coming back here, buddy. You know what I mean?
Many people are picking this game 13-10, things like that. They're saying very low scoring. I want a little surprise, but that's what I'm saying. Come on, don't snow real hard. I don't let the weather be too much of a factor. I do. I want to see a nice shootout. Make a change, that'd be something. The Browns are at home, looking to get Shador's first home victory. That would be something. I think Browns fans would be going nuts. If you do lose to this Titans team, I don't know. Stefanski could be on his way out. How likely that is, I'm unsure.
Kevin Stefanski's going to finish the season, Steve, and they'll make a decision then.
Yes. But at any rate, guys, I have the Browns winning 24-17. They're scoring more points than anyone else.
Wow.
And go Shador, get your first win, and go Browns.
All right. Well said, Steve. We will turn to Mr. Dave Greenshield. Dave, give us some insight on this Browns and Titans matchup.
Well, it's an interesting one. A clash between two rookie quarterbacks, and as I would also say, two bad football teams, Brent. And I would use the Steve Retzer quote, the battle of the bad. The 1-11 Tennessee Titans visit the 3-9 Cleveland Browns. The Tennessee Titans take a 7-game losing streak into this contest with the Cleveland Browns at Huntington Bank Field. The last time around, the Browns fell to the San Francisco 49ers, 26-8, being the final score. As mentioned earlier, this should be an interesting quarterback matchup. Let's start with Shador. He'll make his third start. The fifth round pick has shown some steady improvement since being forced into action during the second half of the November 16th game against Baltimore. He is the first Browns rookie quarterback with a passer rating of at least 85 in his first two starts. Shador showed encouraging poise against the 49ers, throwing for the 149 yards and a touchdown while protecting the football with 0 interception. Now, there was the bad. He did take the 3 sacks in that one and miss some open receivers. Again, we're back to what we talked about a little bit in the preseason here, guys. Do a better job of throwing the ball away. And, again, get rid of the ball quicker. Don't hold on to the ball too long. Now, again, that's route concepts. Yeah. But that's also on Shador, too. Because I do believe those sacks were more on him than the O-line last week. So we have to see him do a better job of that in this one. Now, the Titans defense, it's the 29th ranked scoring defense. They're giving up an average of 27.3 points per game. This could be the right defense for the Browns' 29th ranked scoring offense to face. The Titans also have the 22nd ranked rush defense, giving up an average of 127.6 yards per game. It's going to be interesting to see if Judkins, coming off that solid 23 carry for 91-yard performance against the 49ers, can get something going in this one. The Browns have a league-high 109 catches by their rookies this season. So you can clearly see this is a season, R&D year. It's been pretty much the rookies. You're seeing the future of the Browns this season. This is emblematic of that. And Harold Fannin is the perfect example of that. He leads the team again with 51 catches for 505 yards. We're back to injuries on the offensive line. Steve mentioned it. Teller out with the calf. Conklin with the concussion. They're both going to be I think this is an offensive line, by the way, that's really going to need work in the offseason, guys. They may need to adjust at least 3 positions on this offensive line in the offseason. I don't know if you have a thought on that, Steve.
Yeah, I think they have to address at least 2 spots for sure. I hope they don't have to go 3, but 2 spots for sure, Dave, is what I want to say.
Well, and
Conklin, you got to get someone.
Batonio may retire. You know, there's
he's about ready.
Coach, it could still be your center.
Just a thought on this.
I still like Wyatt Teller. I don't know.
You know what this shows in the NFL? How quickly over a 4 to 5 year period an offensive line can deteriorate. Because I remember in the COVID year, that was the best offensive line in football.
Yeah, for Baker, was it the top line in the whole NFL?
It was the top rated offensive line the year that they, the best year that they've had, which was, the 2020 season.
Imagine if you had the Tampa prime Baker with that Browns offensive line. Now you got something. Because Baker was, he was going up at that point.
Can't we just get Blake Hance back? Remember, he filled in. I didn't know who he was. He came from Jacksonville, and man, he was good.
Well, one of my concerns is KT at tackle in this one because, like I said, he's a turnstile. It'll be interesting to see how the beat up O-line will handle Pro Bowl defensive tackle Jeffrey Simmons, leading the Titans with 6.5 sacks. The Titans have had 21 sacks since Week 7, tied for 4th most in the NFL over that span. This is an offensive line that has had issues in pass pro this season. So Shador will need to do a better job of getting rid of the ball quickly in this one. So he's going to have to be decisive. Yeah. None of that running backwards we always talk about. He's going to have to be poised in the pocket and get rid of the ball quickly. Also, that's going to be a lot of that's going to be on the Tommy Rees game plan as well. On the other side of the ball, the Titans have had their own issues offensively. This is the 32nd ranked offense in total yards, 31st in rushing offense, 30th in pass, and 32nd in scoring offense, by the way. They're really going through their growing pains this year. You thought we were bad, by the way, Steve.
Wow.
The number 1 pick, Cam Ward, has shown some progress. Ward can match Vince Young's franchise record for most starts in a season by a rookie quarterback. Young started 13 games in 2006. I always thought Vince Young had a future. The off-the-field stuff caught up with Vince, though.
Yeah, good call.
He strung together 4 starts, by the way, this season without being intercepted. This is one of the concerns that I had about Ward coming out of Miami. I thought he was careless with the football at times when watching him at Miami. I thought he played a lot of hero ball, which is some of the things that we saw from Shador at Colorado, Ward has thrown for 2,351 yards, 7 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions on the season. He has not gotten a whole lot of help from his supporting cast. The offensive line has been a real issue here. He's been the most sacked quarterback in the league, by the way, guys. This bodes well for today. I'm going to get into that in a minute. This line will be out without the services of center Lloyd Cushenberry, who's nursing a foot issue. The tackle duo of Dan Moore and J.C. Latham will have the unenviable task of having to block the league's best pass rusher in Myles Garrett. The Browns pass rusher leads the NFL with 19 sacks, 28 tackles for loss. Garrett had 3.5 sacks the most recent time these two teams met. He has had a sack in 6 straight games, the longest active streak. You know what? I actually think this could be a big Myles game. It should be a big Myles game. He's had big games against Dan Moore at tackle before. I think this is a lookout game. I don't know if you have an opinion on that one, Steve.
Yeah, I wanted to see at least 1 sack, but I see what you're saying. And it was quite convincing. He could get at least a couple in this one. I don't know how they're going to block him.
Yeah, they may have to run some doubles, chip on him, do whatever they have to.
Right, for sure. It's one offensive lineman, right, that's out for Tennessee.
Yeah, it's their center. Go ahead,
What's
Brent.
the count? What's the sack count right now? 18 for Garrett?
19, right?
19?
Yeah, 19. Yeah.
19. So you need 4.
Yeah, to break the record.
22 and a half.
Yep.
That's what we got. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I think in the next 2 weeks, I think it could be broken here, guys.
Well, today would be a big day to chip away into that balance.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, continue.
Yep. So it's going to be interesting. By the way, rookie Carson Schweizer leads all rookies with 99 tackles, pardon me, on the season and 10 tackles for loss. He must be the leading candidate for Defensive Rookie of the Year, Steve, I think.
Oh, and it's like a landslide, by the way. I've seen some stats on that, and he's way ahead of all the other.
I was debatable on the pick when it happened, just because of how much we had offensive needs. But the guy's a really good football player. He just is. I have to say that. The Titans feature back, as Steve mentioned, a former Cowboy, Tony Pollard. Now, he has only averaged 3.9 yards a carry for this struggling running game. The Titans ranked second to the Browns with 97 receptions by their rookies. So, again, this is a rebuilding team that's trying to build their offense around rookies at quarterback and at the skill as well. Overall, this is the type of offense the Browns defense should feast on. This is an offense with a rookie quarterback who can have turnover issues, not to mention a very, very questionable offensive line in this one. The one major advantage the Titans could have in this one, guys, what has been the bugaboo this season? Special teams, by the way. Rookie Chimere Dike leads the NFL, averaging 21.2 yards on punt returns, the highest punt return average in the season in the Super Bowl era among qualifying players, by the way. We know that the Bubba Ventrone led special teams has been anything but special this year, guys. It's been bad.
Can he just stay out of interviews, by the way, too? He started.
Well, you can make an argument.
Yeah.
Now, this is nuts for me to say this, but
Sure.
I'm just going to say it. That could have, just him alone, not Stefanski, has ruined the season. Bubba Ventrone.
Yeah, I mean, 2 games. I mean, last week, San Francisco, for sure the Jets game. Now, I don't necessarily blame him for the Bengals loss. I mean, the kicker still has to make the kicks.
Yeah.
But that's still special teams related, by the way.
Yeah, that Jets game, and the Jets are a bad team.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jets.
Last week.
I got another one. Vikings. Wasn't there the Vikings game? I thought there was somebody that got loose.
There could have been.
It's been a minute.
Well,
3 games I'd come to, guys. 3.
That's exactly
this
right.
This is not a guaranteed win for the Browns because of the special teams. The Jets beat us.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons was the special teams.
You know what? I just
You
thought
said
of
the
something.
Titans have a good returner.
Yeah, exactly. That's something to watch in
The
this one.
AFC North is down this year. If you win 3 games, you're
Yeah.
right in the thick of it, right?
Yeah, I think the two big things to watch in this one are the couple of injuries we have on the offensive line and the special teams. The Browns, again, gave up a punt return and a kick return for touchdowns against the Jets. They also gave up the big punt return that set up the first touchdown against the Niners last week. That set up the early touchdown by McCaffrey. The punt coverage team will be something really to watch and pay attention to in this one. Just in conclusion, this is one of the gettable games I had before the season started, Steve. These Titans are in full rebuild mode with a rookie quarterback. Their offense has even more struggles and growing pains than ours with a rookie quarterback than the Browns are having. It's going to be interesting to watch both rookie quarterbacks and see how much continued growth they'll show in this one. The issue is Cam Ward is facing a much better defense than Shedeur Sanders is facing, bottom line. That's what I come back to. I just feel Miles and the D-line should feast in this one. Have a feeling we could see some sacks and possibly a turnover or two. The Browns should be able to get the ground game going a little bit in this one. I expect a little bit more out of Shedeur Sanders. I'm going 21-10 Browns.
Well said, Dave. All right, we will get to the game of the week, and somebody's got a little streak going, right, Steve? You're back on track. I mean,
somebody has a really good streak going.
Well, I know.
Check Brent Keaton.
You're Dave. Come on, you're on a run. This Steve's on a little.
He's about halfway to
I know.
Right?
Yeah,
I'm in a zone of my own.
I know he did. Remember at the beginning of the year, Dave was doing so bad. It was kind of like, okay.
Yeah, I was going to come to Retzer for
picks.
It
was. We just were kind of like, maybe we said maybe we should take game of the week out of the whole show because Dave's doing so bad. I'm sorry, Dave. I'm sorry. Hey,
what?
I mean, me and him talked. You're not around.
Yeah, so we have to have a Browns and Beyond meeting.
Yeah,
Yes.
Dave's not doing so good, so maybe
Yes.
just kind of,
Yes.
just maybe talk about the losing part of it. I don't know. Anyways, all right, let's keep it moving. All right, Steve, what do we have going on here for the game of the week? What do you got?
All right, guys, I elected to go with the Steelers at the Ravens.
It's a big one.
Yeah, this is a big game, guys. A 1:00 p.m. game. Last week the Steelers lost to the Bills pretty badly, by the way. That was your game last week.
It was.
As did the Ravens. They lost to the Bengals, but of course Joe Burrow was back. So
Yeah, that was my game last week. Of course, I like to put it number 7, as in 7 in a row.
I know. we know. You got 7 chips. You won the in-season tournament if we actually had one. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Okay, all right, go ahead.
they're both trying to win this week division. They're both 6-6 going into the game. You guys know that Aaron Rodgers is 3-0 against the John Harbaugh Ravens. Problem is, it's all games coming when he was a Green Bay Packer.
That's true. Yeah, you know what, Steve? There were moments last week where I thought he looked really bad, and he did not. He's starting to show his age a little bit.
He is.
And you know what? I look at it both ways. He does not have a strong supporting cast here in Pittsburgh. It's lacking in some areas, particularly at the receiver position. They can't really run the football consistently. So there are some areas, and especially where he's at in his career, he needs a lot more help. And I just don't necessarily know if he's getting it in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, that's right. Pittsburgh seems like they're slowly deteriorating defensively.
Yeah.
Rodgers.
Yep.
Like you said, they can't run the ball.
Don't forget about the Tomlin situation with the coach and
This is really the first time I'm hearing that people are starting to really kind of question, Mike Tomlin, and if he's long for this,
Yeah, many Steeler fans, even ones that right around here, I've talked to some of them.
Yeah.
My buddy Ron, he said that Mike Tomlin cannot hire any coordinators or coaches that are good.
That is true. That is true.
Mike
You haven't
Tomlin
seen
does
one in a
his
while.
job, but he can't hire.
Didn't he, guys,
Matt
refresh
Canada a year or two ago?
refresh my memory?
Yeah.
He did very good with the Cower push, the holdover from Cower.
That's true.
Is that correct?
It's kind of like a college coach when they inherit, the team from the former coach. I will say this: to that point, when that first Super Bowl he won, he had Bruce Arians run his offense, and I believe Dick LeBeau run that defense.
Those were both Cower guys.
Yeah,
those were great.
And they were top-notch coordinators. So that plays into that.
And I think he might have gotten a couple more guys after that. But for the most part, he hasn't got anything, correct?
Yeah, I mean, I do think it's a combination of coaching and quarterback play, though, post-Ben era, as we talked about.
I would probably put quarterback play above the coordinator situation.
Right.
They just haven't got anything since Big Ben that I can even... Can you think of one? I can't think of maybe Justin Fields and Russell.
They tried washed Russ. Now you're looking at a washed Aaron Rodgers, easy for me to say. And, again, the supporting cast could be better. And then defensively, this isn't the dominant defense I've seen, Steve, in the past either.
Who was the Browns guy? The Browns picked up that guy. He got cut from our team at quarterback. What was that guy? I can't think of his name. The guy who always made fun. I can't remember. We had 4 quarterbacks in camp.
Well, Mason Rudolph.
Pickett.
Kenny Pickett.
Kenny Pickett.
Yeah.
It hasn't worked. Steve.
Hasn't worked out. All right, continue.
So, guys, both offenses have sputtered recently. The Ravens possess the more potent and reliable core strength, their running game.
Yep.
The Steelers have struggled defensively, and a big part of the Ravens' blueprint for victory must be leaning on Derrick Henry. Expect a big game from him. He needs under 70 yards to hit the 1,000 mark on the season and has a history of big performances against this rival. If the Ravens' offensive line can establish the run, it will open up an entire playbook, guys.
Well, I got to say this should be a bounce-back game for Lamar. I watched that game against Cincinnati on the Thursday. That was one of the worst Lamar games I've seen. He was just careless with the football. There was fumble. There was interceptions. It was not good. So he's going to, if Lamar takes care of the football and we see a little bit better version of Lamar, I think the Ravens will be all right in this one.
Yeah, Lamar surprised me this year. He has been injured, but he hasn't played like an MVP candidate, or always won MVP a few times. But in this rate, even with Lamar Jackson battling some of these nagging injuries, he remains an absolute difference maker. He can take over a game at any moment, especially after playing bad last week. Right, like you just said, Dave.
Yep.
I expect him to bounce back and have a big game today. That's what I'm thinking. Pittsburgh's defense is led by T.J. Watt. Will bring heavy pressure. Jackson's ability to evade sacks and extend plays is a level above what the Steelers' offense can muster. The Baltimore defense is the better unit. Despite recent dips, the Ravens defense, featuring playmakers like Roquan Smith and, of course, Kyle Hamilton, ranks statistically higher than the Steelers' struggling unit.
They're playing
they struggling.
Well,
Pittsburgh.
I will say this about the Ravens: they're playing a lot better defensively than they were earlier in the year. They're finding ways. They're not giving up the big plays as they did early in the season. I will say this about Pittsburgh defensively. They've had some issues in the secondary. The pass rush is still good, but they've been diced up in pass coverage. We saw that obviously emblematic of that Thursday night game when Flacco carved them up on the Thursday night. So it's going to be interesting to see if Lamar can bounce back against the Steelers secondary and, maybe find Zay Flowers, some of those other receivers that can start to make some plays against that unit. I think they can.
But one thing for sure, Dave, is when Lamar Jackson's playing, the Ravens defense plays better. When the backup's in there, it seems like anyone can beat them, right? I mean, even though the Ravens have a good defense, when they have a backup quarterback in there, didn't play so good. I think the Texans.
The energy changes. Yeah,
that's true.
Okay, continue.
They boast a top tier pressure rate and should be able to rattle the opposing's offense, forcing crucial turnovers. The Ravens' run offense versus the Steelers' front seven. Can Pittsburgh contain Henry? I don't think so. If they commit too many resources to the box, Jackson in the passing game, especially to Mark Andrews, tight end, will exploit the single coverage. This is the linchpin of the entire game. T.J. Watt versus the Ravens offensive line. Watt, he could be a wrecking ball, guys. So he's capable of it, but the Ravens need their top line to hold up. Jackson has been sacked 9 times in the last 3 games. So that's an interesting stat.
Well,
if Pittsburgh knows how to turn it up, they could apply some pressure to Jackson.
That's the one thing Lamar will do is he'll run himself into some sacks. You know what I mean? Where it's oftentimes we see this, guys. A scrambling quarterback will oftentimes run themselves into sacks. We've always said this for years. The pure pocket guys that get rid of the ball quickly. I mean, obviously, the greatest example of all time was Dan Marino because he had that quick release and was getting rid of the ball quickly, but not a mobile quarterback. So it's always these running quarterbacks. Oftentimes will evade the pocket and run themselves into sacks, and you'll see that with Lamar from time to time. By the way, So something to watch in this one.
So if the Ravens can neutralize T.J. Watt, Jackson will have the time to find Zay Flowers and Mark Andrews, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Rivalry games are always tight, and the history between Mike Tomlin and John Harbaugh favors the underdog in the under. However, the stakes are too high, and the home crowd will be electric. The combination of Derrick Henry setting the tone and the Baltimore defense coming up with critical late-game stop will be the difference. I'm going to go with the Baltimore Ravens, 24 to the Steelers 20. They're just going to be too much. Lamar will be too much. Aaron Rodgers is getting too depleted.
Yeah, that's right.
And the Ravens are at home. They're getting the win.
No excuse for the Ravens not to take this one. I think they'll be more balanced and just better. I'm with you, Steve.
Well said, Steve. We will get to Mr. Dave Greenshield. Dave, we looking for chip number 8?
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm just winning here, Brent. That's all I have to say,
Remember, if you get this, you're in rare company. Even Tom Brady doesn't have 8.
Well, that's true. I passed Brady today.
You passed Brady,
yeah, exactly.
and then you really have bragging rights. So this is really...
Okay, we're talking Super Bowls versus game of the week.
Well, hold on. Well, really, you know where Dave's at? Dave is starting to get where Bill Russell wants to be.
Right up
I know.
So you got to get 11 right.
Steve, are you going to be petty again and root against him today to lose like you did last week?
Probably just against you. I might be going with Dave.
Thanks.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Well, this I got a big one here in the NFC North, the Bears and the Packers. And a big one to keep the Dave Greenshield win streak alive. That's the most important thing.
Gotta get number 8.
Okay. This should be a good one. As the 9-3 Bears travel to Green Bay to face the 8-3-1 Packers at Lambeau Field. These two teams will face each other twice in a span of 14 days in a pair of games that will go a long way towards determining the NFC North champion. They meet again December 20th in Chicago. The Bears have lost to the Packers 11 straight times before winning 24-22 at Lambeau Field in their 2024 regular season finale. This will be an interesting test for both offenses as they face difficult defenses. Let's start with Green Bay. Quarterback Jordan Love has 6 touchdown passes to only one interception in 4 career starts against the Bears. He's coming off a great performance against the Lions on Turkey Day. He was excellent, by the way, in that one, throwing 4 touchdown passes in Green Bay's Turkey Day victory over Detroit. He is 7th in the NFL with 19 total touchdown passes. Not to mention, he's only thrown 3 interceptions this season. He's been very accurate, and he shows that nice ability to throw the balls, to make the throws from inside the pocket and outside the pocket as well. He's becoming one of the better quarterbacks in this league, Steve.
Yes, he is. I agree 100% there. I still like Green Bay, though. I mean, gosh, they're tough. Jordan Love, if he could be like Aaron Rodgers kind of owned the Bears. The Bears are like a weaker top seed, in my opinion. But, I mean, I'm happy they got there. I mean, they are showing signs that become,
Well, I'm going to get into this here in just a second. When you look at their team statistically, you would think that they would not have this record, by the way. So I'm going to get into that. It will be very important in this game for him to take care of the football in this one. The Bears lead the league in interceptions with 17 and takeaways with 26, and turnover differential with a plus 17 in this one as far as that goes, which plus minus always one of the better statistical stats in the NFL, protecting the ball and taking the ball away. Safety Kevin Byard leads the NFL with 6 interceptions, 2 shy of his career high. Cornerback Nashawn Wright is tied for second with 5, and linebacker Trayvon Edmonds has 4. It's not been a shutdown Bears defense. That's what I'm saying. They've been more of an opportunistic defense. They're 27th overall in total defense and 25th in scoring. They've been opportunistic, and it'll be interesting to see if Josh Jacobs and the Packers' run game can get going in this one. The Bears don't have a really good run defense overall, by the way. 28th, by the way, overall, and 30th in yards allowed per carry. It's going to be interesting to see if, Jacobs, who's kind of had, a decent season, not a great season, at 4 yards a carry, can get going in this one. Green Bay could have back the services of receiver Jaden Reed in this one. Watch out for Romeo Doubs, who's had a solid year with 45 catches for 5 touchdowns. That was always the key to me, is finding that number 1 receiver in this offense for Green Bay, by the way. I thought it was going to be rookie Matthew Golden early in the season.
Yeah, Dobbs is having a good season. I expect him to get at least 1 touchdown in this one.
Yeah, also watch out for Watson, too, who made some key plays in the victory over Detroit. The Packers' pass blocking on the interior has been the real weakness, but the strength of the Bears is their edge rusher, Montez Sweat, is where Love is most likely to see the heat coming from the Bears in this one. It's going to be interesting to see if the Packers can have balance with the run game and if they can avoid turnovers in this one. On the other side of the ball, quarterback Caleb Williams, who I've not necessarily been a big fan since he came out of USC, Williams became the first Bears quarterback to win at Lambeau since Jay Cutler, by the way, in 2015. Gosh, that's hard to believe. When Chicago beat Green Bay in last season's finale. If he's going to make it 2 in a row, a little bit more accuracy would help. Williams has completed only 53.2% of his passes in his past 5 games and ranks last in the NFL in accuracy at 50.1% this season. He always seems to have a fair amount of good throws and then missed throws. It's just consistency with Caleb Williams that I always have my doubts about.
Yeah.
So it always seems to be come back to consistency with him. Can he consistently make the throws? That's something to watch in this one. The Packers almost never blitz. Why? They don't need to. Rashawn Gary and Micah Parsons have been one of the better pass rushing combinations in the NFL. They've combined for 20 sacks this season, with Gary getting 12.5 sacks. He's really benefited from having Parsons on the other side, Steve.
Oh, absolutely.
Caleb Williams enjoyed the stability of, by the way, the 6 fewest sacks allowed by the Bears. So they've actually been pretty good in pass pro. There must be some concern about in this one because Kyle Monangai had an ankle injury that was bad enough to keep him out of practice earlier in the week. I think he's going to go in this one. And the Bears lead heavily on the run game. I think the 2 strengths of this team has really been the run game, and it's been, their defense forcing turnovers. Because you look at it statistically, it's not Williams having a big year. And statistically, this is not a great defense, like a Texans defense that really gets after you. The run game with DeAndre Swift and Monangai have ranked 2nd in the NFL in total rushing yards. The Packers did get back starting linebacker Quay Walker. On the outside, the Bears will be without the services of Rome Odunze at wide receiver due to a foot injury. He leads the Bears with 44 catches. It's going to be interesting to see if DJ Moore and Luther Burden can pick it up at wide receiver. This will be a big test for Williams against this defense. I'm sure he'd like to have all of his weapons in this one. This actually might be the biggest game of his young career so far, actually, by the way, Steve.
Yeah. Well, it really is. And Ben Johnson's been doing a heck of a job with the Chicago Bears and, trying to get with Caleb Williams. Sometimes at the beginning of the year, it didn't look like they were on the same page, right, Dave?
Yeah.
But man, if they really recovered from that.
Well, I think they've taken a little bit off of his plate by having the strong running game. This Monangai and Swift combination has been really, really good. But if this team was ever to be a threat or kick it up another level, it's going to have to be with Williams being more consistently accurate throwing the football. And that's going to be the key to them pulling this out today. The Bears have been playing great. Again, to Steve's point, credit first-year coach Ben Johnson. They've been doing it without a super huge season from Williams or without a dominant defense. It's really been with a strong running game and forcing turnovers. I really like the way the Packers have been playing lately, especially Love. He's accurate, he takes care of the football, and that's going to be big in this one. I really feel the Packers just match up better with the Bears here. I think Love will play well. I think they'll get a little run game going. The defense will contain the run. And the lack of consistent accuracy by Williams is a concern. Give me the Packers at home, 27-17. Keeping my Super Bowl pick alive, by the way, guys.
And this will be it. He gets 8 chips.
There you go.
It's going to be, he's got bragging rights.
That's a comfortable win there, Dave.
Yeah.
I'm not confident. I just like the way the Packers match up with them. I like the fact they're playing at home. I just think they're the better football team.
The Packers just seem to beat the Bears. Doesn't it seem like that? I don't know.
Dave, you got to get up on the bar and do this. If you do it, you got to do the, pretty, you're going to run out of fingers here soon, buddy.
No, it's just winning.
Just winning. What you can do, buddy.
Hey, Brett's at your back. If you keep winning, he'll put up his fingers too. So. I'm gonna be sitting there looking and just shake my head like,
Retzer,
look at these guys. So.
Oh my God, he's getting this, isn't he? Oh my God, Retzer. All right. By the way, I see a sense a little jealousy.
Yeah, a little bit, maybe a little bit.
I'm on the come up.
Yes.
All right. Okay. All right, guys, we're going to get to my game of the week, the Rams and the Cardinals. Did you see what I did there? This has got Dave Greenshield vibes.
Oh, here we go.
When the Chiefs played the Raiders.
Yes.
And easy button.
You take one easy button game.
Yeah,
all of a
You
sudden
lost one in a row. Shouldn't you lose?
Yeah, I know. I did.
Let's hear.
I just had to do it because it's a little shot at Dave because I want to remind him of this. You're right though. The rest of the games they were all hard. Yeah, right, Steve. Yeah, real hard. Anyway.
Thanks for coming at me there.
I know. Anyway, I had to do it. I still love you, buddy.
Thanks.
All right, guys. The playoff contending Los Angeles Rams are heading to State Farm Stadium to face the struggling last place Arizona Cardinals. That's Steve's maybe one of his third best teams here because you like Jacoby Brissett.
I do like Jacoby Brissett.
He's played some solid football at times this year.
He's averaging over 300 yards a game passing.
Are we going to say he's been an upgrade over Kyler Murray? By the way,
you've always said that Jacoby is like a steady, solid quarterback, and he's not. He's not one of the best quarterbacks, but he's stable, he's serviceable.
Yeah.
Okay. The Rams, fresh off a tough loss and needing to keep pace in the NFC West, will rely heavily on the elite connection between Matthew Stafford, who leads the NFL with 32 touchdowns, and his dynamic playmakers Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams against exploitable Cardinals secondary. Meanwhile, the Cardinals, playing spoiler at home, will try to lean on the veteran poise of quarterback Jacoby Brissett, Steve's boy.
Yes.
And an surprisingly effective pass rush to force turnovers and slow down the high-powered Rams offense. Go ahead, Dave.
Just have to say this. Off week by Stafford last week, had the turnovers, a couple bad picks. Matthew Stafford was just on a tear, playing as the best quarterback in the NFL this season. And just an off week last week against Carolina. Had some bad turnovers that really cost him in that one.
Yeah.
This could be a bounce-back game for him, though.
That's kind of what that's why that wasn't just easy.
He had a stinker.
Yeah.
Right?
He had a stinker, and it's hard to win every week in NFL. It is.
Arizona's a fun team to pick on, too, by the way. They just are.
Well, I agree. This matchup features one of the league's most efficient scoring attacks against a defense that has given up chunk plays all season.
Yeah.
Expect McVay's Rams to come out aggressively to secure a bounce-back win and maintain their position in the playoff hunt. I got the Rams winning this one, 38-24.
I can see that. I just think that Stafford, his receivers, they match up pretty well against this Cardinals secondary.
Yeah.
And, barring Stafford really getting careless with the football, I like the Rams in this one.
Yeah. Yep. All right, we're going to get to the final segment of the show here, and we're going to get to the bold prediction. And I know we're going to win both of these, right, guys? I can just sense this is both of you guys are going to win this.
I need a win here.
Yeah. You've been kind of
bold.
You won your last bold prediction, didn't you, Steve?
You did, Steve.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right. Well, you don't brag about that to him. I'm surprised. You kind of been like the humble.
I'm kind of humbled.
Yeah,
right.
It's not really.
There's a whole lot of humbleness.
A lot of humility. Get you be more like Steve. All right. We're gonna get right to. All right, Mr. Dave. Get us a winner this week. Bold prediction.
I think I've got a good one here, Brent. I'm going with Jonathan Taylor to go for over 100 yards. I'm going to also say he's going to have a touchdown against the top-ranked Jaguars run defense. This is a really the reason I think the Jags have been playing so well is the defensive side of the ball. They're not getting a really huge year out of Trevor Lawrence. They've been able to run the football a little bit with ATN, and it's really been the defense that's leading this team. By the way, Jonathan Taylor leads the NFL in rushing yards with 1,282. He also has gone under 100 yards in each of the last 2 weeks. I think defenses have been really focusing on containing the run because they know that's the key to this Colts attack, by the way. Again, he's the key. If he can get this going against the Jags in a battle for the lead in this division, that's going to be big. They need that running game to take some pressure off our good buddy Danny Dimes. It helps the Colts end their 9-game losing streak against Jacksonville with over 100 yards. I have him going over 100. If you want to hold me to the touchdown, you can on this one, but he goes for over 100. He gets a touchdown, and I look for the Colts to bounce back in this one and finally get me a win in my bold P's,
Your bold P, all right.
I think that's a good pick, Dave.
Yes.
And here's a fact, too, that interesting fact I came up with is in Jacksonville,
yes,
Jonathan Taylor only averages 43 yards. So this is a good bold P. Now, when he has Jacksonville at home, he always gets over 100 yards.
Yeah, when they're playing in Indy. Yeah.
They usually shut him down. But I agree with you. He could get 100 yards.
He could go off. Yeah, no doubt. All right, we're going to get Mr. Steve Retzer, and we'll wrap things up. Steve, get us another win here for the bold prediction.
All right, boys. I got the Miami Dolphins at the New York Jets. My bold prediction is that Breece Hall will have over 100 yards rushing against the Dolphins and lead the Jets to a win over Miami, which would end a 3-game winning streak by the Dolphins. Isn't that hard to believe? The Dolphins won 3 in a row. It's hard to believe since the Browns beat them,
Is your bold P, you got to have both things true? You got to win against the Dolphins, and then you got to have 100 yards.
Because it's not uncommon for Breece Hall to get 100 yards.
You got to win.
It is uncommon for the Jets to get a win.
And like I was saying, if you want to hold me to the 100 yards and the touchdown for Taylor, you can too. So,
Okay, we'll do both. Yeah, we'll have a little dual combo. Yeah, fair enough. You got two things. You got 2 parameters. He's got 2 parameters.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of keep it even. By the way, Mike McDaniels, who was on his way out, by the way, after the Browns game, now's winning football games in Miami.
Yeah, sometimes you got to be patient.
Yeah, I guess.
More with him than Stefanski. That's what I got to say.
Okay.
All right.
Miami has a weak run defense, and just because Miami beat the Bills within the division doesn't mean that they can beat the Jets. This is the NFL where anything goes. So go Jets, go Breece Hall, and let's secure this victory, boys.
Make it 2 in a row on bold P's, Steve.
That would be if I can do it.
All right, Steve, we're going to hold you to that. Hopefully you get that one done, and we'll just talk Thursday about that big win, okay? All right. We will get some final thoughts here, go around the table. I'll get into my prediction of the Browns game. We'll start with that there. And basically, I kind of see this, as a low-scoring affair, and then I got the Browns pulling this one out. 21-17 over the Titans.
Okay.
There really isn't much more to say about this game. I think it's going to be kind of ugly, and I don't think it's going to be an air raid thing. I don't see that. No, I don't.
So the defense dominates, maybe get some turnovers, Brian. Is that kind of how you see your game script going?
Yeah. Defense, and I think it's going to be a lot of punts. I think there'll be some first downs. There's going to be a lot of I think the Judkins, a lot of running game. The Browns will have the possession, but I don't think this is something where Shador lights it up. I don't think they're going to do that. I just don't. And I just think it's going to be similar to the Raiders game, but even less. I don't think there'll be as much passing. I just think they're going to eat clock, and they're going to get away with that win, 21-17.
Yeah, I could see them running the football a little bit better than this one. I think this could be a solid Judkins game. I know we want to see more from Shedeur in the passing game, but I think could be a good Judkins game, by the way, Steve.
Yeah. I wish it was a Shedeur passing game. Yeah. Oh, I wish, but I don't see it. Good.
Well, boys, like I said, if it's a light snow, I want to see some passing in this one.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see Tommy Rees really break out the playbook. And by the way, guys, it was a virtual interview with Penn State.
Oh,
so
it's
I just want to throw that in.
Well, but
now
you saw who
Penn
got the job.
Hired Ohio State's Matt Campbell.
Ohio native, by the way.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's right.
But, it's going to show you Tommy Rees is kind of a wanted guy out there. I want to see him open up this playbook. Let it rip.
I agree with Steve on that. I wish it was going to be that way because we kind of need to see what we got with Shedeur.
Sure.
I don't know. I think it's going to be status quo.
Yeah, I think we'll see a few more larger sample size of different throws from Shedeur.
Yeah.
I think they're going to try some of that in this game, but again, I think they're going to lean a fair amount on the run game. So.
Yeah. All right, let's get some final thoughts and get on out of here.
Yeah, an interesting game this week. Again, I peg this as a gettable game at the start of the season for the Browns. I'm confident that they can get a victory today. I don't know how much we can take from that, beating a bad football team, Steve, but yeah, you don't ever have to apologize for getting a victory in the NFL.
Absolutely. And Cam Ward versus Shedeur. Let's go.
Yes, this is it. I look forward to it, guys. This is a good one. Take care.